Have you noticed that even people with decent jobs in America are struggling just to pay rent now? A small apartment that used to cost $1,200 a month suddenly costs $2,000 or more. In some cities, people are working full-time, cutting expenses, skipping vacations, even delaying marriage or having children, all because rent keeps eating a bigger piece of their paycheck. And the scary part is, this housing crisis may be far from over. In today's video, we're breaking down the real reasons rent keeps rising across America, who's benefiting from it, and why millions of Americans feel financially trapped in today's economy. Welcome back to The Dollar Pilot. Today we're talking about one of the biggest financial pressures crushing Americans right now, rising rent prices. Across the United States, millions of people are asking the same question: why does rent keep going up every single year? Whether you live in New York, Miami, Dallas, Los Angeles, Phoenix, Seattle, Chicago, or even smaller cities, housing costs have become one of the biggest financial burdens in modern American life. And for many Americans, rent is no longer just expensive. It feels completely out of control. The truth is, America's rental crisis is being driven by several major economic forces all happening at the same time. And understanding those forces explains why so many people feel financially exhausted today. One of the biggest reasons rents exploded is simple supply and demand. For years, America has not built enough housing to keep up with population growth and demand. In many cities, construction slowed down after the 2008 housing crash. Developers became more cautious. Building regulations increased, labor costs rose, and zoning laws made new housing projects harder to complete. As a result, the country slowly developed a housing shortage. Then the pandemic changed everything. During COVID, millions of Americans moved to different cities, searching for cheaper living, remote work opportunities, or larger homes. Cities in states like Texas, Florida, Arizona, Tennessee, and North Carolina saw huge population growth. More people competing for limited apartments caused rents to surge rapidly. At the same time, mortgage rates increased dramatically. When the Federal Reserve raised interest rates to fight inflation, home loans became far more expensive. Suddenly, millions of Americans who wanted to buy homes could no longer afford monthly mortgage payments. So instead of buying houses, many people stayed in the rental market longer. That created even more demand for apartments. And when demand rises faster than supply, landlords raise prices. Another major factor is institutional investors. Over the past decade, large corporations and investment firms started buying massive amounts of residential real estate across America. Some companies purchased entire neighborhoods of homes and apartment complexes. To investors, housing became not just shelter, but a financial asset. Critics argue this increased competition made housing less affordable for ordinary Americans. Because large investment firms often have enormous financial power, they can outbid regular families trying to buy homes. And once they control more rental properties, they gain stronger pricing power in the market. Technology is also changing the rental market. Many apartment companies now use advanced pricing software that analyzes local demand, market conditions, competitor pricing, and occupancy rates. Some critics argue these systems encourage landlords to raise rents aggressively across entire regions. While companies say this improves efficiency, many renters feel prices are becoming artificially inflated. Inflation itself also plays a major role. Property taxes, insurance costs, maintenance expenses, labor costs, and utility expenses all increased significantly over the past few years. Landlords often pass those higher costs directly on to tenants. This means renters end up paying more, even if their apartment itself has not improved at all. Insurance costs especially became a growing issue in many states. Places like Florida, California, and parts of the South have seen major increases in property insurance due to hurricanes, wildfires, floods, and climate-related risks. Those higher costs eventually impact renters too. Another hidden issue is wage growth, not keeping up with housing costs. While some Americans received salary increases in recent years, rents in many cities rose much faster than incomes. This is why even middle-class workers feel financially stressed today. Teachers, nurses, office workers, delivery drivers, and even tech employees are increasingly struggling to afford housing comfortably in many parts of America, and younger generations are being hit especially hard. Many Gen Z and millennials now spend huge portions of their income on rent alone. Financial experts often recommend spending no more than 30% of income on housing. But in many American cities, renters are paying 40%, 50%, or even more of their monthly income just to keep a roof over their heads. That leaves far less money for savings, investing, healthcare, retirement, travel, or emergencies. And this creates long-term financial instability. Because when people cannot save money consistently, building wealth becomes much harder. This is one reason many young Americans feel financially behind compared to previous generations. Social media also contributes to the pressure. Luxury apartment culture, expensive city lifestyles, and online comparison make people feel like they must live in trendy, high-cost areas to feel successful. But many Americans are quietly accumulating financial stress, trying to maintain lifestyles they realistically cannot afford long-term. Another important factor is America's growing homelessness crisis. As rents rise faster than incomes, more households are becoming financially vulnerable. One emergency expense, job loss, or medical bill can suddenly push people into eviction risk. This is why housing affordability is now becoming not only an economic issue, but also a social and political issue across the United States. And here's the important question: will rent prices ever come back down? Historically, large rent declines usually happen only during severe recessions or major housing crashes. More commonly, rent growth simply slows down temporarily, while incomes gradually catch up over time. But in many cities, experts believe housing affordability may remain difficult for years because America still faces major housing shortages. That's why more Americans are now rethinking where and how they live. Some people are moving to lower-cost states. Others are living with roommates longer, delaying homeownership, moving back with family, or working remotely from cheaper cities. The entire American lifestyle is changing because of housing costs. And perhaps the biggest lesson from all this is that housing is no longer just about location. It's about financial survival. At the Dollar Pilot, we believe understanding the economy is one of the most important financial skills Americans can develop today. Because once you understand why rent keeps rising, you stop blaming yourself for every financial struggle and start making smarter long-term decisions. The truth is, America's housing crisis is connected to supply shortages, interest rates, inflation, investor activity, wage stagnation, and economic uncertainty all at the same time. And until those deeper structural problems improve, millions of Americans may continue feeling trapped by rising rent prices. Stay informed, stay disciplined, and remember, financial freedom starts with understanding how the system actually works,